Welcome to BeastCast, episode 9.
Okay, I didn't know if that was gonna be funny or not. Obviously, it wasn't funny. Okay, everything should be good now. As always, I'm here with Raven Bones.
That's good. That's one way to get people to turn it off.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. So this is episode 9. We didn't really know what we were gonna do for this one, but we got some topics today, and as always, we got Ryan Gosling with the greatest new Black Panther. Actually, the greatest Black Panther of all time.
Yes.
Wakanda Forever just came out yesterday. Well,
with Ryan Gosling as the new Black Panther.
With Ryan Gosling as a new Black Panther, and it was the most movie of all time.
It was the best movie of all time. Like, I really felt like he filled T'Challa's, shoes very well. Chadwick Boseman would be proud.
Facts, dude. And this is real, by the way, as you can see on screen, the screenshot from the movie. I had to take it. The reason why it looks so bad is because I had to take it in the theater, and there was like a bunch of people, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get caught, and I'm gonna get kicked out of my movie theater. So there he is. The new Black Panther is on screen. He's in the MCU. Okay. It was fucking beautiful. Dog shit. It was so dog shit. That movie was so fucking bad. I genuinely was very upset with what they did with this movie because I don't think it should ever existed, to be quite honest with you.
And they shit all over Tony Stark.
They do. They completely do shit all over Tony Stark. I don't know if you, because Raven hasn't watched the movie, but I'm assuming you've probably looked up enough shit by now about it.
I've been looking up clips, yeah.
So, to give you the rundown, so the first 30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes of the movie are actually really good. So the first 40 minutes, it covers, basically like Chadwick Boseman's death, and it's really what's the word? It's very like respectful. It's a very sad, scary tone. You do get an action scene in there to set up the villain, but you get a bunch of grieving and you get a bunch of mourning, and it sets a really serious tone, which is something we haven't seen in Marvel movies in fucking like 3 years. So I was very happy with the start of the movie. It starts out super, like respectful. And then all of a sudden they get to this point where they start making jokes, and then they start like they have to go find this person. So basically there's this new Iron Man, Ironheart. It's this girl from MIT, because of course they just love MIT, fucking Spider-Man too. And so it's this chick from MIT, and the only reason they go get her is because apparently there is some vibranium machine, like that, or some machine that can detect vibranium, but she's the only person in the world that can make it. So basically the other one gets destroyed, so the US government needs a new one, but Wakandans don't want the people to get vibranium. So they basically like yoink this Ironheart, and then they have this long fight scene, and then these fucking water people, who are the main villains, who turn blue when they're not underwater, they steal the princess, aka T'Challa's sister, and this Ironheart chick. And so basically they're like, we need to kill this Ironheart chick because we can't allow them to, like continue getting vibranium, and then they're going to be able to overpower us. So it ends up having this really stupid plot, because if the first machine, it gets broken, right? But they could have easily just like completely salvaged it and figured out how to make it. I mean, it's not like they don't have like Stark Industries or anything, or any other big technology company that obviously had the power and technology to do this, considering that she was literally just like some college student. She said it didn't even take her that long to make. It only took her like 2 months. So they could probably make one with a big enough team, you would think. So I don't get.
You would think.
So I don't get. It's just kind of like a.
But then after all, I mean, Tony Stark's first Iron Man suit, not even Obadiah's team could recreate the Iron Man suit arc reactor to be small enough, even though Tony did it in a cave with a box of scraps.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but so then, so they go to this hideout place that this chick, this Ironheart's lab, and she basically has like this She basically has a bunch of Tony Stark's like Stark Industries Iron Man concepts, and she's basically made like her own like pseudo Iron Man suit, and she flies around, and then when they get back to Wakanda, she basically makes a brand new Ironheart suit, which by the way looks absolutely awful compared to Iron Man.
I saw that. Oh my god.
It looks so fucking bad. The face is so dog.
It's
The
like
CGI
somebody,
was bad. The CGI for the most part was good, other than that stupid Ironheart stuff.
dude, that Ironheart suit looked like somebody took Black Manta from Aquaman and put it together with one of those fucking Japanese robots and then was all like, yeah, let's make it look like a ladybug.
And I actually kind of hated it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of
It was the dumbest shit.
there's an Ironheart show coming out next at the end of next year, and it was setting that up, which to me is kind of sad. The best part about the entire experience, I kid you not, was seeing the preview to Ant-Man and the Wasp, because that movie actually, as bad as the last one was, this one actually looks like it could be semi okay. It sets up a really stupid plot line, but it looked very beautiful from the trailer. But other than that, the movie was pretty dog. And then eventually T'Challa's sister becomes the Black Panther. And then also, I guess spoiler alert because I'm spoiling the
The
entire
real
movie.
woman king.
She fucking this goddamn lady. She drinks like I think I don't even know what she drinks. She must either drink like Black Panther serum or she drinks like T'Challa's blood or DNA or something like that. And she merges and so she can become a Black Panther, like the protector of Wakanda. And instead of meeting her brother in the lineage of other Black Panthers or the Black Panthers before her, she meets Killmonger. And she's like, "Oh, you're bad, you're evil." And he's like, "No, I get shit done. Your brother was too noble. Don't be like your brother. You gotta be like me. You want Wakanda to be safe, you gotta be like me." And of course, Michael B. Jordan, he's Michael B. Jordan, so it's whatever. And then
Yep,
the
that's
the
what throws the whole thing off.
the the queen dies, and so then they're left without a leader. Um, and then they had this plot point. You remember that one guy that we talked about should be Black Panther?
Yeah.
Afterwards. So they made him into the stupid all men are bad characters, where he's just kind of a douchebag who like talks down to the queen and talks down to all the women. But he does. Okay, I thought they were gonna have him be like that the entire movie. He eventually towards the end of the movie, after he fights the guy with wings on his ankles. Spoiler alert: that's the main villain is a dude with wings on his ankles. Um, so he fights him, and the dude whoops his ass. And so then he's like, "All right, maybe I need to rethink my life." So then he kind of gets a redemption. He kind of becomes more of a really noble, humble guy who like is really just trying to become like a strong, supportive leader when they're in a time of no leadership. And it sets him up to be like either a really good king or something like that of Wakanda. But that kind of pissed me off that they even started with him being like that. And then yeah, so the movie ends with her basically not following Killmonger and saying, "You know what? I am going to be like my brother. I'm going to be super noble," which of course is going to lead to the downfall. And then T'Challa's T'Challa has a son apparently, that's living in Haiti, and of course the Black Panther, the protector of Wakanda, goes to Haiti because why not? She goes to Haiti, and that's where she ends the movie, on a beach in Haiti with trash burning in a bin. So,
It sounds like the dumbest crap in the world.
yeah, and there's no end credit scene. There's only a mid credit scene, and it just says Black Panther will return, which was kind of sad because I was at least hoping that they would maybe shill something more interesting than Black Panther.
I don't know. How about her? His what was her name?
Yeah,
Shiri,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
What? Okay, sorry. I don't care if I butcher it. If she became her own thing, like
Well,
because she showed the
she so
ability to create shit.
well.
I
Okay,
thought
hold
she
on,
was
hold on.
gonna become Ironheart.
So she has a really big role in the movie. She's the one that saves. Basically, the queen goes to Shiri, who's living in Haiti, helping children become smart or something like that in the school. Like she's basically educating people, and the queen goes, "We need you, Shiri. We need our the T'Challa's sister's gone, and we have nobody else." So she basically rescues them from the underwater city where all the bad people are, and this guy with wings on his feet or on his ankles is, and she has a really good badass role. And then the girl T'Challa's sister makes makes her this really cool armor suit that's kind of like a Black Panther esque suit, and she has like a really cool like gun attachment to it, and it's kind of fire. She kicks a lot of ass, but that's kind of all she has. That's her role, is she just kind of kicks a lot of ass. She does do she's definitely one of the better characters in the movie, and funny enough, T'Challa's sister isn't even actually that bad. I would say that she did okay in the movie. She's not a bad actor, but um the story really just falls flat because you have a bunch of semi okay actors getting forced to shill this really shitty plot and really shitty dialogue. For example, the main leader of the Wakandan army, that bald lady, you know, remember her? She
Yeah.
they she basically, her character, who's supposed to be like this, you know, basically very serious, you know, character, she ends up joking around and having like jokes with the princess while they're on like a really top secret mission that could basically it's gonna affect like Wakanda forever. And they're basically just fucking around saying like, "Oh, Apple iPhones, they're so primitive." Ugh. And it's like, "Oh my god, dude." And then of course she gets stripped of her title because she loses the princess. And then the princess or Black Panther makes her the other really dope suit, so that she makes like two suits. She gives one to Shiri and then gives one to her. And so they basically get to kick a bunch of ass at the end of the movie. But yeah, and then yeah, it was just, you have a bunch of really good actors that I felt like were probably like just told like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. This is how you have to do it.
Here's
Yeah.
what I would have felt would be more believable. Okay. Even though we all know they had to replace Tony Stark at some point. Okay. I would have felt that the bringing about of Ironheart should have been done in two ways. Okay. They could be two different ways, but here's how I thought that it should have been done. One, in Captain America Civil War, it's showing that Tony Stark funds a lot of bright students' projects, and clearly Tony Stark is literally all over the place. Like this dude is building apparently bar shacks with the Hulk in his isolated beach house, and then somehow halfway across the world doing all these conventions and stuff. Like for me personally, I thought it would have been nice to see them bring back Robert Downey Jr. for some, like, you know, flashback moments from before Endgame, like, because they had 5 years before, you know, they, you know, beat Thanos again.
Well,
And I,
so she does, so she is part of that. There's a She mentions like her dad was this mechanic, and that's why she basically got to tinker around with stuff. It's kind of stupid that she's so like smart and good with technology. You know, I guess it's whatever. You know, people are just gifted. But she did say that she got, the only reason she's able to go to MIT and like pay for it is because she was chosen for one of the Stark grants. One of the
okay.
So she is under Tony Stark's technically lineage, because I think she's under, I don't, she only mentions it briefly, but if I remember correctly, she basically said that like they're setting her up to pay for her college so she can go work at Stark Industries basically. So my theory is they're gonna set up the Ironheart show with her meeting Happy, um and it's gonna show the legal part of Stark Industries, because you know at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home they got into some serious shit with with the spider suit and all that, and all the other illegal shit that Stark
Okay.
Industries was doing. So I think it will
Okay.
probably, the show will probably focus on that, and then her taking over Stark Industries, which I don't know how I feel about that, but
Okay, well, my thing is that we have an entire 5 year gap of Tony Stark having a daughter that grows up and everything else.
that is
That
true.
since they're were people being funded by him. I don't know how many of them lost to Thanos' snap. Obviously, they can make it to where she wasn't one of them. That he would have obviously seen, like, oh, hey, look, because he has his nose in anything. Like Tony Stark is the embodiment of the CIA or the NSA all by himself. He would have been like, oh, look, here's this really talented girl doing shit, bringing back Robert Downey Jr. to show that within those 5 years before fighting Thanos again, he had mentored her a bit because he saw her obvious potential and pushes her into the, you know, direction of her looking up to Iron Man. And then they show in like the Iron Heart show how learning of his death really got to her, and how that is meaning that maybe all that time they spent together was him encouraging her to take up his mantle, like something that gives a nod rather than just taking over his fucking company because she got a scholarship.
Yeah, and well, there is a rumor that Robert Downey Jr. is signing another contract with Marvel. Um, and the only reason I would see that happening is if they use that stupid multiverse bullshit. Um, which is going to end with the Avengers movies in 2025. So fucking 3 years from now. And I guess I don't know. Do you think Downey Jr. is too old to continue playing the role?
Nah, we have such advanced technology to where if they need to make him look a bit younger, they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they already fucking
We're not
have shown
expecting
that
him
they're.
to do any action scenes. We like the Tony Stark of the Iron Man. So like Tony Stark being in a suit, saying some sassy stuff, talking to somebody and encouraging them can, be how they bring back Tony Stark. He doesn't need to be fighting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how people are gonna react with him bringing him back through the multiverse. So
I hate that shit because then it just makes Endgame feel once again like a worthless movie.
yeah, and I feel like if they try to backtrack, I mean, they're already setting up that there's gonna be an X-Men crossover into the main universe with the stupid multiverse bullshit. Because I don't know if you followed Miss Marvel at all, but Miss Marvel is basically the first fucking mutant in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It was a
So
horrible show.
yeah, and so they have mutants in the universe now. So the X-Men are probably gonna cross over, especially with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool 3. But James Gunn is out of the picture now. So I guess no more Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think he's sabotaging chapter 3
Oh
or volume
yeah.
3?
I mean, he's either going to sabotage it or he'll actually give it the best thing he can give it and then just leave because,
Well, he's already left.
more.
He's done. And they said that Guardians of the Galaxy volume 3 is basically done. They just are doing some visual
Well,
effects
I
tone
know that
ups.
he's gone, but what I mean is like until the movie drops, he's
Yeah.
technically still with Marvel because like
Yeah.
he has to finish all the editing and the directing and the
Yeah.
the but like once it's over, everybody's going to either see this travesty on the screen or they're going to see like one of the most epic, well put together movies in all of Marvel cinematic history, and he's literally going to just be dropping the mic and walking away, and everybody's going to be like, wait, no, you produced the only good film after Endgame, you got to come back.
Yeah, and then it's gonna force everybody to go be like, well, James Gunn, you directed some stuff for DC. Let's go to DC, and then DC's like, yes, that's exactly what we wanted. And what's funny is supposedly they didn't even like buy out James Gunn. James Gunn like basically left to go to DC on like his own will,
Yep.
basically. So that just shows you how much Kevin Feige cares about his really good directors. Did
Mm-hmm.
you see that they wanted to hire Christopher Nolan and he told them to piss off?
No, but I'm not surprised.
They were
They're not
they
even good
they
enough to kiss
well
his ass.
they wanted to they wanted to, well, supposedly they said that he has well, because he directed one of the best uh, superhero trilogies of all time, and they wanted him to do a trilogy of I don't remember what movie character it was, but he basically told him to fuck off. He said, "Piss off."
Yeah, because if he even tried, they're gonna be in there going, "Oh wait, no, you can't do this. The studio wants you to do that," and
Well,
he's gonna
that's
be
his
like,
whole thing is he likes to have full control over everything. And that's also the thing with James Gunn too is James Gunn doesn't really like when people start fucking with his shit. And then when Marvel, I remember I think it was with Volume 2, god damn it. I think it was with Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy, they kept like backtracking everything he wanted to do if I remember correctly. Like every single time he'd storyboard, they'd be like, "We love that. We love that. But what if?" And then it got to the point where he was just like over it. But
"So sad."
yeah, Christopher Nolan did say that he would love to direct in the DC universe again. He said Batman would be fun, but he would only do Batman with Christian Bale, and he said that he wouldn't mind doing another superhero movie at some point. But I think he's trying to finish up Oppenheimer right now. So, um, Mr. Manhattan, and then from there, I guess whatever else is left.
Now, the second way to bring about Ironheart would also have been same premise, 5 years of stuff we don't know what happened in between those 5 years. Where with Shuri, where Tony Stark obviously would have at least visited Wakanda once or twice, or Shuri would have like reached out. Like you can make it to where Shuri would have reached out to Tony Stark and them have like, oh, well, you can do this, you can do that. Look at your vibranium, blah, 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 blah. Make up Tony Stark intelligent conversations with Shuri where they're talking about technology. And you could have made it to where even Shuri becomes Ironheart herself based off of like finding somebody who is as smart as her, like Tony Stark, just, telling her his story and how he came to be and what he did in the cave and how, lead have dialogue that makes his end game story feel even more emotional. And then like he obviously dies and Shuri's like, yeah, I can be Ironheart, but I'm gonna do it like the vibranium way. And then make her the Ironheart. Like it just feels so dumb to have this chick that just comes out of nowhere and is all like, hey, look, I'm a really good mechanic, but like I've never really looked up to Tony Stark. I'm just like cocky. I could do
Exactly.
it.
That was the one thing is it seemed like they wanted to push this Black Bronx character more than they wanted to push like an underlage of Tony Stark. And well, that can be an interesting plot line. There's already a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that already lives in the Bronx and is black and is a really good superhero. And it's fucking Miles Morales. It's literally a Spider-Man spinoff. You don't need to have a stupid Iron Man spinoff when you already have a really well-written character that you could do so much with that's so liked by the community. Like the Marvel community all around the board really doesn't mind Miles Morales. A lot of people really like him. It's a because
Yeah.
it's an interesting character concept. But I found the Miles Morales game it was underwhelming because it's just basically a DLC of Spider-Man, but it was good. It was great. I thought it was really interesting, and they don't need to fucking pull this stupid plot line for Ironheart. They could have just easily. I'm hoping that we always say this about Marvel and they never do it, but I'm hoping they just backtrack it and just make her like full blown like trying to become a student of Tony Stark, basically of his ways, even though he's gone and he's dead. You know, trying to live up to that because you can't be Iron Man and not be living up to Iron Man. Like that's not how it works. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they basically tried that with Spider-Man, giving him full access to all the Stark Industries bullshit, and look at where that got him. So, I mean,
One of my hopes was that they followed a concept that is shown in a comic somebody made where um, Tony Stark actually adopts a daughter.
well, is
And
Ironheart even a comic book character?
yes, Ironheart, they literally just came out with an Ironheart comic book before the movies.
Okay.
I believe that there might be some really old comic
See, this
books.
actually looks good though.
See, that looks better. That looks a whole lot better.
Then what? Where was it? This bullshit, dude. This literally
What?
is a toy. This is literally a toy. That looks so fucking bad, dude. Oh my god. This is what we're gonna get, dude. Yeah, look up the MCU one. Oh my god, dude. See, like, we could have actually had a decent Ironheart suit, but instead we got a shitty fucking. Like, the pink on
When,
black is kind of sick.
like for example, when Tony Stark in the first movie builds the first Iron Man suit, he obviously did it with a box of scraps. Okay, so it was gonna look clunky and retarded. Okay, like it was meant to be. But when he got back, he made it the best he could. And when he got back home, he took this. He decided that rather than changing the overall look of the suit, he basically slimmed it down to the Iron Man suits we got now, but keeping the helmet that resembled that very first, build. It had its like trademark. When I see this new Ironheart suit in this Wakanda Forever, I'm like, I'm not seeing a backstory. I'm not seeing like an inherited look. I'm not seeing like something that speaks to this woman's culture. Like I would have, they could have made it look black and yellow. I have black and gold. I have no idea. Something that makes it be like, yeah, this definitely hails back to like her in the Bronx type of thing.
I think the black on pink doesn't look too bad. I think they should have just stuck with that.
Well, I'm just giving out like, because I'm sure that she would have listened to like different types of music. She would have, like, for example, Tony Stark made it red and yellow because he saw a hot rod on his desk that he really liked, and it's like I was like, I'm not seeing the personalization of the suit, I guess,
Yeah,
is a better way.
that's
There's
the
no
thing.
personalization.
There's no personality to the character of the suit. Yes.
I'm
Was it
watching a
was
discount Black Manta.
Yeah, was it or Spider-Man? Was it Iron Man 1 where they had the Back in Black AC/DC song?
Yeah.
That was I don't even remember what the scene is. Isn't it when he first shows off the suit? It's fucking down there. And it's like, "Oh, dude, that's
No,
fucking
that's the beginning. The Back in Black is the beginning of the movie when he gets shot in the Humvee.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember what part cuz I remember when he first uses a suit, there's a song that plays. I thought it was that, but I think I'm just stupid. Iron Man
No.
2, I remember watching that a long time ago. I remember Whiplash being the main villain. I don't remember much about it other than that Elon Musk is in the movie at one point. And
A small
yeah,
second, yeah.
yeah, he's like, hey, Tony Stark, we should talk about. And he goes, yeah, good. And he just walks away. I also honestly I think I like that idea more than I like the nanotech bullshit. Like the where he has to like put the suit on, like it drops in the briefcase.
Yeah, like the briefcase turns into the suit. Yeah.
That yeah,
And he
and,
puts it
and,
on.
and then in Iron Man 3 they change it to where he can just do the tap of it because he puts the heart, like, doesn't he binds the heart to him or whatever, right?
What?
Yeah, no, doesn't isn't that like the whole thing where he has the heart on him at all times so he can just click the thing and then like turn into Iron Man?
It's not an Iron Man 3.
Which Iron Man is it then?
That's um Avengers Infinity War.
Is it? Is it really that
Yeah.
late? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Infinity War is the first time he has the nanotech. In Iron Man 3, he has the Iron Man he has an Iron Man suit that self-assembles on him into many different pieces.
Oh, okay. God,
That he
it was really that late in the MCU. Holy
Yeah,
moly.
the nano suit only
See,
came in into
some things
Infinity War.
just don't make sense to me, like time wise. Like Ant-Man came out in 2014. I swear Ant-Man came out, and Ant-Man and the Wasp came out in like 2017. And so, I mean, that makes sense because the stupid snap bullshit. But
2015 is Ant-Man.
I thought it was 2014.
No, it's 2015.
See, I don't even have the dates right, dude. No, do you know what I was thinking of? I was thinking, funny enough, I wasn't even thinking of a Marvel movie. I was looking up when all the John Wick movies came out, and I couldn't believe that John Wick Chapter 1 came out in 2014. I was like, there's no way. There is no fucking way. Because John Wick Chapter 2 came out in 2017, and then Parabellum came out in 2019. So it's been good 3 years. It's going to be like roughly 4 years without a John Wick by the time Chapter 4 comes out. So guess people are ready for it again. I'm getting hyped for John Wick, though.
I am. I can't wait.
Maybe we should go see it in theaters. When was the last time you saw a movie in theaters?
Avengers Endgame.
Really? It's been 3 years?
Yeah.
Dang.
I don't really go to movies unless I know it's a movie that I want to go to the theater for.
Did you get hyped during Endgame when the first time you watched it when you saw the big battle scene?
I was actually more hyped about finally seeing Captain America wielding the hammer than I did
Oh,
the
that was fucking fire.
I mean, seeing everybody finally show up because they did snap their fingers, and I was thinking, damn, didn't like the Hulk snap use the gauntlet? Like, why we're like you would have expected somebody to show up by now, and then to actually see them show up with all the portals because Doctor Strange is giving them all the portals. I was all like, ah, yes, here we go, just in time. Like I did unironically get a few chills during that first time seeing it on that big ass screen, and you know but to me, what actually gave me the most chills was not even like the rushing of everybody or even the showing up of everybody in the portals. It was Captain America wielding the hammer, doing the best fucking choreography we've seen yet in a Marvel movie with his shield using it. And having that moment finally come about and then having his shield basically chopped in half, and then even after all that, he gets up and lives up to who he is as Captain America, and that whole I can do this all day type of attitude. And he's literally standing there in front of Thanos and just an army of things ready to rip him apart. And he's like, yes, I will face them all alone with this hammer. That big shot that you can pause the movie on before the portals open up is probably one of like the best like cinematic shots that you can find because it's just one man against an army. That's kind of where I got the chills.
Yeah, it was. I remember because me and my friend Charlie were really big and hyped, and our movie theater is super small. It only has 3 theaters in it, and every theater was Avengers Endgame, and they were all booked out. And so we got into the third theater, and we were like the last two people, and we were like all crowded up. And dude, I just remember the fucking the scene when all the portals open up. Dude, me and him just looked at each other, and I kid you not, there's tears coming down his face because he's a really big Marvel fan, and he was like a superhero fan, I should say. He's more of a DC guy. He loves the Flash, but I remember, I swear, dude, there's tears coming down his face. Funny enough, the only time that the movie theater was ever that packed again, um, well, I can only think of 2 times. Um, funny enough, you're never gonna believe this, but the first time it was Episode 9 of Star Wars. It would have been that same year. It would have been that same year, about 7 months later or 8 months later. No, about 7. Yeah, about 8 months later, because that movie came out in April, and then that one's December. So yeah, it was about 8 months later, and I remember everybody going nuts, and we had like all 3 theaters almost were all packed full of people going to see Star Wars, and then the only other one that got close was No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. They had 2 theaters rented out for that one, and they were completely booked. So that was yeah. And No Way Home
I don't
gave me
go to
chills
movies
too.
much. Yeah, the last time I went to okay, so here's my movie theater. Here's my movie theater uh history. Endgame, Infinity War, and then
Wait, didn't you go see Joker in theaters?
uh no.
Oh,
Oh wait, yeah, I did. Okay, so Endgame, Joker, both in
No, 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 no.
2019.
No, Joker would have came afterwards. So the last movie you saw was Joker, because Joker came out November that year.
I know I'm going backwards.
Okay.
So the most recent was Joker, then Endgame, then then before Endgame it was Infinity War, and then it was uh the Battle of the Five Armies with the Hobbit, and
Really?
then it was Godzilla.
Oh, jeez.
So you have this big gap, by the way, 5 years. So I went from Godzilla in Battle of the Five Armies to Infinity War, which is 3 years, and then of course Endgame right afterwards. And like I only did that because I thought Infinity War didn't let me down, but I wanted to see Infinity War. Wait, no, I'm a liar. I never saw Infinity War in theaters. I pirated the camera version somebody had of them being in the theater, which felt just as good. Because for some reason watching the movie on a crappy cam footage while actually having the theater in view of the camera footage I was watching made me feel like I was there. So I'm a liar. No,
Whoa!
it literally goes from 2019 to 2024. Yeah,
I didn't realize her name was that.
Miss Nigga.
And Nega. Come on, get it right.
Nigga.
Okay, so the reason I bring this movie up because so we have our theater and then we have a theater in Wilmer. That one's been kind of dying, but that's a bigger theater. This was the last movie I saw in that theater. I have vivid memories of going to this movie. And this movie I remember
Never seen it.
is not too well liked, but I loved it. It was a really fun movie for me. This would have been right before Star Wars. It was a fun
Yeah.
movie. It was a fun movie. Um, it's Brad Pitt, so it's always got something good. The
Yeah, I never watched any of
Dude,
it.
do you know what movie I forgot to put on my top 20 list that I wasn't even thinking about? I wasn't even
What?
thinking about Bullet Train. I totally forgot this movie came out. I love this movie.
Wow. You're an idiot.
I am an idiot, dude. This movie was so good.
It was.
I want more because there is the guy, the director, or not the director, the author of this book has a novel series with Ladybug, but um yeah, it's kind of I don't know, man. It's kind of
Okay, so basically I was wrong. So there's actually a 5 year gap. I went from in Endgame, which is 2019, and then before Endgame, and Joker in 2019. The last time I was in a movie theater was like 2014. So a 5 year gap of never going to the movies.
Mm.
And then I watched all three Hobbit movies in the theater. And that's the only time I ever watched a trilogy in the theater. Other than that, I'd never go to movies
You watched
at
all three Hobbit movies in theaters?
Yeah.
I watched the first two How to Train Your Dragon movies in theaters.
You did?
I did. I was fairly young when the first one came out. It would have been 2011, I think.
2010.
Yeah, I was quite young. I think I was
We're
only
a little springing.
Yeah, I was only like 6, and I remember I actually really liked the movie because I liked how uh, what's his name? Is it Toothless? I
Yeah.
liked how he looked. He looked kind of cool.
Look like a cat.
Yeah, it was an interesting concept. I know, like I remember you were talking about that the work that it's based off of is not very kid friendly, but
It's not. Not in the slightest.
a movie I really want to see. I want to see a good God of War movie.
I'm scared they're gonna fuck it up.
I don't think so with Sony. I don't think so.
Well, yeah, because like,
Sony always
which
does
part
really
of-
good. Sony always does really good adaptations of their movies when they have direct control over it. See, like when they source it out to Warner Brothers, like they're doing with The Last of Us. I know that's well. Okay, so first off, I have so many problems with The Last of Us. The biggest
Ghostbusters.
one, ooh, the only one I don't. The only big reason that I can't stand by The Last of Us movie or TV show is why does it need to exist in the first place? Like, really, why does it need to exist? We've had this game, like, completely remastered, like, 6 times. And not to mention, there's so many, like, cinematic versions of it where you can just basically fuck all the gameplay and you can just watch the cinematics. I mean, you could argue that it's going to bring it to a wider audience, but I don't really think they need to. And also, I don't really like the casting for the movie or for
Me
the TV
neither.
show. I think what is it? Is Pedro Pascal?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think he works well in that role. I liked him in Wonder Woman 1984 because he was kind of stupid.
I did
But
too.
Wonder Woman 1984, my thing with it is you got to look at it as not giving a fuck type of movie.
He
It's
was
not.
great as the Mandalorian too.
He was amazing as a Mandalorian too. I
When
love
he
that.
was actually on the screen, otherwise it was somebody else in the suit.
Yeah. I remember he got pissed off and he left, didn't he? He said they could still use his voice. He'd do the voiceover, but he wouldn't be in the suit anymore.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was after season 1. After season 1, he said that he would provide his voice for the voice lines, but he would not do anything else. You know what though? I think I can't see anybody else playing the Mandalorian. Really. His voice is so synonymous with that character. I love it. They wanted to there's a rumor that they're doing a Star Wars Battlefront 3 game, and there's a leak of a Mandalorian like hero, cuz they have heroes like in Battlefront 2, so I'm assuming they're going to do it similar. And to me, I was just like, I don't really see that. I don't really know if like they're going to fuck it up. Like, unless Pedro provides his voice, but most of the time they don't get the actors. The only person that voice acted themselves in the Star Wars games, in the Battlefront games, was Boba Fett. Boba Fett is voiced by the main actor.
That is so dope.
Yeah, he also said that he would voice all the clones too. So they had him do like 35 hours worth of lines of clone work. He's the goat. He is honestly the goat. Cause you
My
could.
fear
Oh, go ahead.
is I don't know where they would start with the God of War movie. Do you want them to start with like him killing the Greek pantheon?
Yes. I think the Greek pantheon.
Well, then
First
they're
off,
gonna fuck it up.
first off, the thing is not necessarily that Norse mythology doesn't sell well, but Greek mythology sells a lot better movie wise.
Well, they're gonna fuck it up.
Well, I mean, God.
Zeus will be black.
Well,
Hercules will be
you
Mexican.
don't necessarily know that.
I do.
I feel like if they were gonna do it, because Sony doesn't usually fuck it up that bad. I mean, look at the Uncharted movie. They casted properly for that movie.
They casted a less than masculine Nathan Drake, Tom Holland, and then yeah.
Well, I mean, but Tom Holland really fits in that role though. He is literally like the characters he plays are like the living embodiment of Nathan Drake. Also, having can you really blame them considering that Tom Holland is like one of the biggest actors right now too? That movie was gonna sell like 1,000 times better if he was Nathan Drake, and he doesn't even do a bad job. Like I was kind of sketched at first too because I was like, I don't really know if it's gonna work, but it does work quite well because he's still young Nathan Drake. He's not like we're not at Uncharted 4 yet. I mean, Nathan Drake technically in the games is built quite big from the beginning, but by the time he gets to Uncharted 4, he's pretty massive. But compared to the early games, Nathan's not necessarily scrawny, but he's not big. He might be taller than Tom Holland, but he's not like bigger. So I mean, I think it works fine. I think if they want to continue the Uncharted movies, I think they need to get they already brought up the ring in that end credit scene for the movie. So they have the start of what they needed to bring in, because if they weren't, eventually they have to bring in that ring, and they have to bring in what was her face? Elena. They have to bring in Elena at some point. Because Elena really, well, first off, Elena made the first game and the second game. And not having her in the first movie at all kind of was a Debbie Downer. But we had Chloe instead, which I guess Chloe's all right. But I don't know. Did you play all the Uncharted games?
What?
Did you play all the Uncharted games?
No.
Which games have you played?
None.
Really? Even though they're on PC now?
Yeah, haven't gotten around to them yet.
Oh, you should definitely play them because they're really worth it. But did you watch the Uncharted movie?
No.
Oh. Well, yeah. Once you play the Uncharted games, you should watch the Uncharted movie.
I kind of have Spider-Man fatigue right now.
Oh yeah. Are you hyped for the Spider-Man game though?
The new Spider-Man game coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hyped for it.
It sucks because I don't think it's gonna release on PS4. So, and I mean
Sucks.
you don't even have a PS4, but it's gonna be tough for you to play it. I would lend you my PS5 if you wanted to play Ragnarok, but
No thanks.
yeah.
I can just buy my own console.
See, this actually segues perfectly. So the PS5's been out for 2 years now, okay? And 2 years to this day, technically. Pre-orders started today for the console. So in 2 years, we have gotten Sony. Well, okay, so it's kind of weird. So you know how Sony kind of is like really different compared to like what end of the spectrum they're on? Like when it comes to movies and stuff like that, they're usually pretty good. Their music, they're a little tight, but they usually produce really good music. And then their games are kind of like separate, like PlayStation's
Mhm.
kind of its own little thing. So Sony, PlayStation wise, has kind of went down the drain in a sense. We've gotten some really good games, but other than the games, we really haven't gotten much. We've gotten some really good games. Ragnarok just came out and is doing phenomenal. We had Miles Morales, we had the Demon Souls, Spider-Man, we had the Demon Souls remake, Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn remake. We had all these games, and plus the PSVR
Ratchet
2.
and Clank.
Yep, Ratchet and Clank new game, and the remaster of the old one. And we had Psychonauts 2 was Xbox, wasn't it? But so yeah, we've had a lot in the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut.
That's a lot of games you're listing off there.
Yeah, so these are their these games were very fire. They're all Sony exclusives, and they all have sold pretty well, and they've all came out within like the last 2 years.
Death Stranding,
Returnal, and
they all sold very well for 2 years of the console being out. That's not bad.
So Sony has sold about 23 million consoles in 2 years, which
That's awesome.
Which is in line with the PS4, but the thing that's going to differ from the PS4 is, so the PS4 was the opposite of the PS2. So I consider myself a PlayStation historian, okay? Yep, I know. So the PS2 and the PS4 were the PS4 was the closest contender to the PS2 sales of all time. So the PS2 is the most sold console of all time. It's 144 million units sold. And to put that into perspective, the PlayStation 4, like everybody and their mom has a PS4 at this point now, right? At least somebody's got one sitting around. Yeah, that only sold 110 million. So to put that into perspective, back in the day, and you had a PS2, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a PS2.
Yeah. See, a lot of people had PS2s. Less people have PS4s because, I think the thing that came around with the PS4's problem, there's a lot of factors, but one of them was PC gaming became a lot more popular. And it wasn't just like you had to choose a console anymore to game. But with the PS4, so the PS4 started out about how the PS5 is starting out. It was selling about 10 million a year, which is really good compared to Xbox's numbers, which are about like 5 to 6 million a year. So they're making about double the sales of Xbox and Microsoft right now. But the thing is, the PS4 took off around 2016 when when they announced that PlayStation Plus was going to become cheaper and it was going to become like better overall. And then Xbox that same year completely fucked it up and made the Xbox the first upgrade to the Xbox, and they were shilling that. And so basically everybody was like, well, fuck Xbox, because the first Xbox sucks, and then now this Xbox One sucks too. So then everybody started buying PlayStation 4s, and then the Xbox kind of got fucked over. And then with the new one, I don't even think people realize that there was a new Xbox, because it has like the exact same name as the Xbox One. The Xbox Series X compared to the Xbox One X or whatever.
Xbox One X.
Yeah. Like, it's in. Also, they got to figure out their naming. Like, Sony has the best naming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Literally. And Nintendo even gets wacky with it. Nintendo's is so wacky. The Wii was goofy. Why? What's the deal with Wii? The name Wii doesn't even mean anything.
Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance, SP,
Game Boy Color,
Game Boy Color, Nintendo 64, GameCube.
Okay, no. The Nintendo 64,
Wii U.
The only ones that make sense of Nintendo's consoles of all time is the N64, the SNES, and the NES. The first one, Nintendo Entertainment System. It does exactly that. It's Nintendo's entertainment system. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System does the exact same thing. It's just a better Nintendo system. And then the N64 is a 64-bit version of the Nintendo. And then from that point on, they go wacky. GameCube. Well, what does it do?
GameCube.
Well, it's a cube that games. What do you expect? The Wii.
Little tiny discs.
Yeah. So then they're like, all right, so then Wii. All right, what does Wii do? Well, we would like to play with you. Well, what does that mean? Well, what do you mean? What does that mean? Just buy the console, damn it.
Then the Wii U.
Stick the white dildo up your ass. Come on, dude. Did you ever hear that story? Way back in the day, like in 2011, before the Wii U came out, there was this guy. I think he was in Colorado, and somebody there was like a disturbance alert. Like somebody called the police saying that there was like some really loud noises and like screaming going on at their neighbor's house. And so the cops showed up, and this guy was holding this chick and this guy pull up, like these two cops pull up, they knock on the door, and this guy opens the door and he has a Wii remote in his hand, and they thought it was a gun, and they shot him like 3 times.
Yeah.
And they like killed this guy. And I was like, damn, they really murked this dude for no reason. Like,
yeah,
how do you not?
He had the Wii remote in that gun accessory you could buy for a game.
No way. He's got a gun. What is he gonna do? He's gonna hit you over the head with a fucking cheap plastic?
No, he's gonna make you play a PlayStation 2 dressed up as a Mac.
And oh yeah, the PS3. Oof, that was rough. PS3. I did so. I have this entire thing here that I did on the Console Wars for class, a couple years ago, and it was it was really interesting. So it's basically the Console Wars all together. It's a slideshow, and it's pretty interesting. It's got like basically every single generation. Dude, this one made my teacher laugh. He will never stand next to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dude, Dwayne was kind of the beast. So, for those of you who can't see, it's Dwayne standing next to an Xbox with Bill Gates. That was kind of fire. Dude, Little Big Planet. Ooh.
Dude, I wanted a PlayStation 3 so bad.
I had it
because I had a PlayStation 2, and I was like, I want a PlayStation 3. But damn, I never got.
Do you see the problem with Xbox here? All right, so let's look at this, right? So we have PlayStation 2. These are all PS2 exclusives. Well, except for Grand Theft Auto 3. And then then I think Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid eventually
How
went
could you
too.
not include San Andreas on that?
So, well, because I just took a picture off Google, and then we have this. Okay, so then we have Xbox, right? So look at all the Xbox exclusives for the original Xbox. Wow.
Damn, Halo.
Yeah.
Damn, that's cool. I wonder if they'll change it up soon.
Yeah. So then all right. So next generation. Whoa. All right. You ready? Oh, how many of these are exclusives? Oh wait, none of them are. Oh wow.
Minecraft, Tomb
Doom
Raider.
Raider, Call of Duty. Wow, Xbox.
Damn.
You got some good exclusives. Even Wii, dude. The Wii had some fire exclusive. Wii Sports, Super Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart Wii. Holy moly.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
then we get to the
Italians one.
Beast. Oh my god, the weird bait PS3 commercial, dude. You remember that with the baby? So-
yeah,
so,
I do.
So there was 3 iterations of this. So this is the first one. This is the launch. This is the guy that could play like that had Linux on it, had like Linux OS, and you could like it was like the ultimate system of all time. It was the most system of all time. It was like $700. And then you have this one. Now
600.
this one, yeah, 600. So this is when Kevin Butler comes in. So there's this fake marketing guy they hired called Kevin Butler. And he basically shills the new PlayStation. And then they have this one. I had these two. I never had one of these because this was way before my time. I had one of
Yeah,
these.
the very first thick launch of the PlayStation 3 was hilarious because you could actually just open it up and grill hamburgers in it and everything.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about grilling hamburgers? The PS4 Pro, I think I have a picture of it. The PS4 Pro will literally this part right here. So there's the main CPU sits right here, right under this metal. Okay, so that's already not a good thing to begin with. Okay, you don't want a CPU sitting under metal. It will literally my PS4 Pro has like a divot going inward because it's melting the plastic. Because I was using it, it was getting so hot when I was using it that it was melting the plastic here. And
yeah, not the best from Sony.
yeah, and they fucked up.
All they did was slap another patty on that triple hamburger.
I know,
on that
dude.
double hamburger.
It could play 4K games, but it was so unsupportive, and
But
it never ran in 60 frames.
But listen. The PlayStation 4's designs are 100% better than Xbox's. Xboxes look like a freaking DVR.
But no, so anyways, so Xbox 360, so this would have been Generation 5. So you have the biggest games. So I went by the biggest games the consoles are most known for, okay? When I was talking about them. So Black Ops 2, Call of Duty, Tomb Raider, and Minecraft. Those are the biggest games that were known on the Xbox 360, really. Other than, of course, you could say Halo. Other than you could say Halo, but this is for more of a general audience, going by sales wise. Okay, so
Yeah.
I tried to get an exclusive, something like that. Okay, so let's go to PS3. You know, we got Uncharted, we got Little Big Planet. They had the exclusive rights to the Battlefield games for the first 30 days of their launch. You know, stuff like that. Sony had some. This was a hard time for Sony when it came to exclusives, but they did have some. They had Kratos, God of War in here.
The Resistance.
Too.
Why isn't the Resistance on there?
Well, like I said, this was just for school, so I only did a couple. Okay, but yeah, Resistance. The first 3 games were phenomenal. I love all 3 of them. I love God of War, and then we get to. All right, let's go next. You notice a pattern with Xbox. Halo 5, Sea of Thieves, Forza. It was so hard to find exclusives for the goddamn Xbox One because there isn't even. And Sea of Thieves isn't even an exclusive. It's all these games are fucking on PC now too.
That's because they combined. They made
Xbox. Yeah.
All Xbox games are now on PC except for a few of them.
And then you get to the PlayStation 4 lineup. So look at, would you rather have this Sea of Thieves a racing game in Halo 5, or would you rather have Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Ghost of Tsushima, plus God of War comes out right after
Spider-Man.
this game, and Spider-Man, and no,
yeah, I was.
and then we get to, I talked about how gaming turned into PC gaming, where you get Fortnite, Among Us, Phasmophobia, Rust,
Dude.
Modern Warfare.
I'll never forget the Xbox E3 conference where they're like, dude, we're bringing a revolution to games. Here's Minecraft, Among Us. They literally showed off Among Us for the new Xbox console. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? My iPhone runs that shit.
So, going by, so everybody was trying to tell me that my stats were incorrect because they were, So I did stats completely on. So for those of you who can't see, I have a slideshow up right now, and basically the slideshow is talking about the winners of the console war. So I went by sales and sales alone of the console, okay, and I felt that was right because sales usually do, decide who is the best of that generation. More people are going to be buying the console because it probably is just better. So going from Sony, okay, you ready? Sony, now you notice how there's 4-0 here, okay? Even though they technically have released 5 consoles, okay, and that's because I tied Microsoft. You see this 1W from Microsoft here? This 1W, I gave them the benefit of the doubt of tying the PS3 and the Xbox 360 since they were so close in sales.
Yeah.
That I decided I'd give them a tie. So Sony is caught 0 L's and has caught 4 wins. Microsoft has caught 1 semi-win, half win, 2 losses, and Nintendo's caught 3 and 3. And then I was gonna put Sega on here because earlier on, because it transforms. So it goes from PlayStation and stuff. So the original ones are really focused on Sega and Nintendo. So like for example, the Sega can what Nintendo don't, or Genesis does what Nintendo don't, where they had like Michael Jackson and all that shit. So, but yeah, the basically the overall winners. I mean, going by this is Sony. Sony.
I would have to say actually that Microsoft won the Xbox 360 over the PlayStation 3 because you're forgetting one exclusive that they did have that carried the entire platform aside from Halo. Gears of War.
Gears of War, yeah.
That did carry it. And I do know that they won because when PlayStation came out, you had Xbox who was all like, hey, look, we're $400. Don't you love us? And Sony's like, hey, look, we got this 6-core supercomputer badass console. It's gonna be $600. And back then, $600 was a fucking lot. And everybody's like, what the fuck? $600? I don't want to pay $600 for a console. It's, consoles are already expensive enough. And Sony's like, yeah, but this is like a supercomputer chip and shit. And we're like, yeah, we get it. But like, we're not paying 600. So Xbox 360, in my opinion, kind of won that battlefield, and people slowly went over to PlayStation because as much as they loved Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and playing on the Xbox with all their homeboys and Gears of War, they started to see like exclusives coming out for Sony, and they were all like, damn, the Resistance, do I get that? Oh, God of War, do I get that? Oh, fuck, do I get that? Do I get this? Do I get that? No, you don't get any of that. Oh, Twisted Metal, do I get that?
Oh,
No.
Twisted Metal, dude! Oh my god, I forgot that existed. You just brought back so many memories. Holy shit!
I know they're all. Yeah.
I'm a PS3 baby, so I grew up on the PS3 from the time I could stick my thumb out of my ass and put it on a controller. I was either playing the N64, the Wii, or the PS3. And I grew up on all the classic games that everybody's like, well, dude, you're not even like old enough to remember. But that's not true at all. Because I grew up literally like that was all I did. When I was younger, all I did was play video games. I fucking hated school. I literally would just play video games all day. But this number right here, okay. So I wanted this. So
Also, the other thing.
Nintendo Switch, when I did this slideshow 2 years ago, Nintendo was at 75 million. They just crossed 4 days ago 114 million units sold on the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch is crazy. I have a Switch. I've had my Switch since launch, funny enough, and I love it. The Switch has its problems like every console does, but the Switch, dude, it's gonna be a contender for it's Nintendo's now. It's now Nintendo's most sold console. It's past the DS. This is past the DS now. That's why this number is shocking, because this is past the original DS and the DS Lite. So, we could say that this might be a contender for Nintendo's best console of all time.
Yeah, and the reason why it works is because they bring, like, funny
Console
enough,
gaming.
yeah, they bring console gaming to the portableness, but in a way that they didn't do it before, and in a way that not even PlayStation did it before. You could go to work, and now you can actually play Skyrim on the
Yes.
Switch. You can play, like, they have so many of these old. You could play Doom on it now. Like, you could play, even Doom Eternal. Like, you could play so many of these new games and do everything on it to where people are all like, oh yeah, I can just buy this, and then I don't even and then when I come home I can just plug it into the big screen, and like,
And
people are
see,
still going to have other consoles, but like, portability goes a long way.
so and so the big thing for a lot of people was the Nintendo Switch, right? So a lot of people were like, well, that worked like when it came out 5 years ago, but numbers are gonna start dropping now because this console is super weak compared to the rest of the stuff that's coming around, and games are only getting bigger. How are they gonna eventually put big games on it? And so Nintendo's Giga Chad mindset, okay? All their investors were like, yeah, how are you gonna get these newer games on the console? I mean, eventually the hardware is gonna kind of get outdated. Are you guys gonna release a new console? And Nintendo's CEO just goes, no. He goes, this is what we're gonna do. He goes, are you ready? He goes, we're gonna do a hybrid streaming game where all the graphics are where 55% of the textures are gonna be streamed. Like, so they're in the cloud. They're digitally being streamed to you, okay? And you can download the textures, okay? As long as you have enough storage to do it. And so then basically the games run as like, you're going to run the game half on the hardware and then half in the cloud. So it's basically like, imagine running a disc, okay? But in the cloud. So they've completely chatted the system. So now they can run these incredibly large games. For example, Resident Evil 4, the remake, and Resident Evil 8 are all going to be available on Nintendo Switch now. Because they can do that. So basically, you know how a disc works, right? Where it like so how discs used to work is they would read all the memory off the disc. Well, games started to become so big that you can't read all the memory off the disc anymore, even on an Ultra Blu-ray, which, by the way, I hate that Sony owns that. I don't give a shit why nobody complains about that. But anyway, so Sony owns that, and it only can hold about 75 gigabytes worth of data. Now, that's not bad when it comes to watching movies. But when it comes to playing a video game, there's a problem. Eventually, you're going to run out of storage. And so how they get around that is now discs you pop it in, and it will basically have about half the assets, but the other half you have to download in a patch. They are basically doing the exact same thing on Nintendo, but instead of owning a disc and having to put a disc in or putting a cartridge into your game slot, you now are going to download the patch, and then the other half is going to be streamed like you were having a disc playing inside from the cloud. And this works too, because now that you're not streaming the entire game, it's not throttling your internet, and even people with weak connections can still play the game at like about 720 to 1080p. And for people who are on the go, those people, they can download the assets. So basically, you can download the entire game, and then you can just run it as like this half being streamed off of this like cloud storage, and then half of it being streamed.
Can you play it at all without any streaming?
So the new games as of now, I don't think so, because the new game.
It's a downside.
Well, here's the thing though: is the Nintendo Switch is about the equivalent of a really old PS4. Like it's about as strong as an Xbox 360, like a final Xbox 360. So you can imagine trying to run new games on that. It's going to be difficult, even at 720p.
I don't want to depend on streaming services to play my game.
Well, it's not a streaming service though, okay? Because you're not paying for it.
I don't want it to be dependent on internet either.
But the thing
portability is portability.
But here's the thing though. I think with the day and age that it's not necessarily that. Even I think they even said if your download speed. So my download speed right now, you know how mine's kind of dog shit? On my download speed, I could clear it. You only need about like 15 megabytes download speed to run it, and then you only need like 5 megabytes upload speed to run it. So you're looking at like,
I'm gonna get that on a plane or a bus ride or a car.
Yeah, but then see, that's where the downloading bullshit comes in, where you can just download this fucking. I guess I don't quite understand how it works, but I just know that a lot of the games, like the bigger games, get streamed from this like cloud service, and then the other halves get downloaded kind of like you have a disc.
Nintendo did one good thing with the Switch, and that is making it to where the games ran off of an SD card. And I think that's really cool because if they decide to iterate a brand new handheld console, they won't have to worry about the limitations of read and write because they, I think, will actually be able to unlock having mini NVMe SSDs in their console, which allow up to 5,000, basically 5 gigabytes of read and write and a massive amount of storage and space. If they can harness the NVMe technology and they can put it into a handheld, and then of course the technology for handhelds has boosted. I believe that they can make a deal with AMD to take their APUs, which have which are increased now to 12 gigabytes of VRAM and can run just as well as a normal dedicated GPU. They take that APU and they could put it into a handheld system and make sure that it can run in a mobile form. They could dominate both console and portable gaming at once without the use of cloud streaming services. And that means that there's a lot of potential that can happen with cloud gaming services. I mean, if they enable cloud streaming services on a console like that as well later down the road, like they're doing with the Nintendo Switch, pushing the technology, I mean, they could outdo literally everyone in the market if they harness that technology.
And see, I think right now Nintendo's at a point because their biggest competitor right now, funny enough, is Steam. It's not even Nintendo, or it's not Sony, it's not Microsoft, because the only other person that has anything remotely online with something like a Switch is the Steam Deck. And also, the the Steam Deck is a lot more powerful than the Switch is. And the Steam Deck also has room for expandable SSD storage. So, um, they could easily do that exact same thing with Steam, with the Steam Deck 2 when they want to drop that.
Where's the Epic Games deck?
That's what I'm wondering, dude. The Fortnite machine?
Exactly.
Play Fortnite at 1080p wherever you go.
Fortnite on the go.
Do you know what's funny? I can do that right now on my fucking phone. I can play 1080p Fortnite with a controller on my phone because my DualSense controller connects to my iPhone. So all I'd have to do is just launch Fortnite. I can play it in 4K. I can play it in higher than 1080p. I can play it in 4K. My phone can support 4K gaming. So, I could play fucking Fortnite on the go with a controller on 4K gaming. I don't think there needs to be an Epic Games deck. I do think, however, that the Steam Deck was awesome. It was a cool concept. I think having basically a portable laptop as a Switch is kind of sick. And I think that's what Nintendo needs to base if they're gonna upgrade the Switch, which they said they aren't, but you know Nintendo, they always fucking lie. They probably have like a Switch Pro coming out, which is probably gonna be about as powerful as like a PS4 or a PS, maybe even a Xbox like Series S. So, going by that, they got something. They have room for potential because it's really not. It's a tapped market, like they've tapped into it already, but it's not fully utilized. It's not fully tapped into. I wouldn't say it's the future of gaming because every single time somebody says that about anything in gaming, it always is never. Fucking what's it called? Fucking VR, dude. Do you remember? Do you remember when everybody said VR was the future of gaming?
I laughed. I remember when they thought that the
Dude, the
stuff
Kinect. Oh my god.
yeah, the Kinect. My bad.
I'm gonna
I
play
screwed
Call of Duty on a Kinect. Oh my god.
And it came out all because PlayStation 2 came out with that iToy. Do you
It's
remember
the
the
iToy, yeah.
yeah.
The iToy was so dog shit too. It wasn't even. Funny enough, it's better than any version of the Xbox Kinect that they've ever made. And in the PlayStation Move, do you remember that?
What?
The PlayStation Move. Do you remember that? That was like the PS3's version of the
yes.
Wii.
Yes, I remember the Move. The thing that looked like it had light bulbs at the end of the controllers.
Do you know what the Move turned into?
What?
It evolved. They evolved it. The Move controllers, I kid you not, are the controllers for the PSVR. They're the exact same controllers. Sony, so do you know what happened? Sony had all of these fucking. They thought the Move was gonna be the shit. They made so many of those fucking dildos that they thought that it was gonna like sell super well. So they had these warehouses full of these dildos, and they're like, wait a minute, we can package these with the PSVR because they work just as well as the Oculus controllers. But now they're coming out with the Move 2, which is for the PSVR 2, that's coming out in January, which, I mean, it's going to be the most powerful VR, hardware wise, and it's going to be backwards compatible with all PlayStation games that are VR games. And this is the best part. This is where they lost in the PSVR. Is the PSVR OG was not compatible on PC, so you're already losing 85% of your market. But now the PSVR 2 will be fully compatible on day one with the PC. So you're gonna have
See,
a
that
really
right there, just fucking yeah.
yeah. So that right there just allowed 85% more market. And it is expensive, but I mean VRs are getting to that point now where those big bundled VRs are getting fucking expensive. It's like $300 for the VR2. It's like $299 or something like that.
Isn't it funny how gaming evolves and like even though it has you shut up phone, nobody cares. And that we evolve technology wise, we try to bring the best visuals to the screen, we do everything that we can, even though some companies like to screw it up like EA and Ubisoft, that they still, we're still going, or at least trying to get in a direction. And then movies were just like, the 2005, 2007 was great, we're just gonna like stop trying from here on out. Like movies, like we'll just copy and paste things from an AI generated script and change it into a whatever to fit a movie narrative, and we'll just shoot that and then green screen everything. Like, isn't it funny how games have now advanced forward in the best way possible for narrative storytelling, and movies, which is that's supposed to be their damn job, have suddenly just like, yeah, well, all these people are brain dead anyway, so we'll just make this bullshit. And then, they come up with the worst shit possible.
Yeah, and a lot of movie directors, LA Film School, for example, is a really good example of this. Almost 95% of graduates who graduate from LA Film School that get a job is not even in the film industry. It's in the video game industry.
Yeah.
So, video games, there's a really big market, but on video game news, since we're just going full blown into this, um, did you see about what happened with Team 17?
No.
So they're the creators of the Worms games, Worms Rumble and all that shit.
Oh, yeah?
They apparently are a shitty company, like horrible. They they apparently are. There's a bunch of allegations now that they were being very abusive to all their employees, not just females but males too. Like
No.
the higher ups were fucking them over wage wise. There was this guy. He worked as, I can't remember if it was it was like it was a high up production. He was basically high up on the production chain, and he was only getting paid so they're UK based, and so I think in US dollars he was only getting paid about $25,000. And he
A
was,
year?
yeah, a year.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and a lot of the wages apparently were less than $50,000 a year for most of their like game designers and video game employees. And the higher ups, well, their net profits are over like the millions, and their higher ups were taking like over seven figures pay a year. So there's a bunch of lawsuits filed against them. But Rocksteady too, the creator of the Arkham games, and the
Mm-hmm.
really horrible Gotham Knight game that came out, and also the creator of the new Suicide Squad game that's coming out that looked actually really good. They are they're the two people that were the two heads directors behind the Arkham games left this week. So
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
yeah, it's pretty sad. It's a sad week for gaming. Also, another thing in news-wise, because we're going full-blown news now, Bang Energy CEO Jack Owick is fucked.
What do you do?
So, Bang Energy is a energy drink company, and Monster
Yeah,
Energy.
I see it all the time.
Yeah, Monster Energy was like, "What the fuck is in this?" Because we've never heard of super creatine. So Monster Energy called them out, and they were like, "All right, so show us what exactly what super creatine is. Can you like provide us maybe some evidence or anything like that?" They were like, "Well, no, we're not gonna. We don't have to." And they were like, "Okay, well then we're gonna just file this lawsuit." So then the Bang Energy CEO was like, "No, no, no, no. We'll show you that it's real." So he goes and makes a YouTube video where he puts this like shit in water, and it's not, and apparently it's not even, so the whole point of creatine is that apparently it doesn't absorb in water quite well, even though that's fucking bullshit, by the way. You people have to drink a shitload of water because creatine will literally dry you out of water. So he's already fucking lying to
Yeah.
begin with. And so he's trying to say that the super creatine will basically dry it out even faster. So then Monster Energy was like, wait, are you telling us that people that drink Bang energy drinks are gonna lose water, like the amount of water they have in their body because it's gonna dry them out due to the amount of creatine? He goes, well, no. And he goes, well, then what do you mean? So they filed this $375 million lawsuit. So the U.S. government looked into it, and they found that super creatine is completely bullshit. It's not real at all. It doesn't exist and hasn't existed at all. So the U.S. government put all these fines on them and said, all right, you need to recall every single Bang energy drink by the end of January 2023, which is about roughly $3.5 billion of profit lost now. And so their CEO uploaded a video, and he was like, guys, he goes, this looks bad. He goes, our parent company just filed for bankruptcy, and we're in a really big lawsuit with Monster Energy. He goes, but this is a positive. He goes, this is a positive. He goes, because now this allows us to be free. He goes, this allows us to completely reform Bang into the best product it can be. And I was just laughing. I was like, buddy, you're literally losing roughly $4 billion, and your company's losing $4 billion, and your parent company's going bankrupt, and you're just going, yep, this is a positive. Yep, I see this as an absolute win. And I'm just over here laughing, because have you seen how this guy dresses? He dresses like a supervillain, dude. He literally looks like a supervillain. Jack Owick. This guy. So not these pictures, but he has a YouTube channel somewhere. Jack Owick.
Wait, I don't get how they can say super, like it has to be only what Bang was using that didn't exist, because super creatine does exist. And
Yeah.
various mixes
Hello
of
and
it do,
welcome.
because you have protein powders that use it, along with even Monster themselves that have their own creatine
Yeah,
mixes
but the
that go
super
into
creatine
their.
they were using was just completely bullshit. There was nothing in it.
So it was just a fake creatine mix.
Yeah,
it was
it
just
was-
like, oh yeah, it's
and
like
if you
vitamin
look,
C.
yeah, if you look on Bang Energy, Bang Energy drink, if you look on it, the biggest thing on it, right at the front and center, it says right there, super creatine, and it's not on it. So it's completely false advertising. So they have to pull all of these
Oh.
off shelves now.
It's
But
like
look at,
making a drink that says fruit punch and it's not fruit punch.
yeah, but look at how he dresses. He dresses like a literal super
Oh my
villain.
god.
He's got the gold chain with diamond plated of the Bang Energy logo around his
my
fucking neck. And then look at this suit, dude.
Super creatine never
I don't even need to hear him, dude. This is okay for everybody who can't see. He looks like he's wearing an overpriced Joker suit with like bandana markings on it. Like, you know how bandanas have those swirls and stuff. It has a mix of like cheetah bandana swirls. It's this really off-putting royal blue mixed with a shirt underneath that makes him look like a Cuban mob boss from Colombia. And then he has a gangster necklace, big gold gangster necklace with a diamond with diamonds decorating a plate of the Bang logo around his neck. And he looks absolutely terrible. He looks like a discount he looks like a discount Brazilian Anthony Cuomo.
he's a literal super villain. Oh my god, dude. He
Hope that's the best description you all enjoy.
Oh man. Well, so yeah, I guess there's been a lot that's been happening this week. There's been a lot of shit that's been going down. Man. But yeah, it's sad
Yeah.
to see that the lead developers, like directors behind the Arkham games, are gone because I really like playing those games. I'm gonna replay them here soon and on PC and yeah, I mean, sad, sad to see. Are they gonna do a new not Rocksteady? Are they gonna do a new Lord of the Rings game?
Um, no, everything continues to be canceled.
Mm.
I don't know if they're going to do another Middle Earth game. I am hoping that they do, but they kind of wrapped that up nicely. I don't know if they're going to do anything Lord of the Rings now because Rings of Power kind of screwed it up. You know what? I was actually thinking of something. Call me crazy because we were talking about video games and narratives and cinematics. Imagine this. You know how in God of War you go from like the cinematics to the gameplay and it's all very smooth? Imagine if they did a similar Avengers Endgame game where like you're playing as Thor wielding Mjolnir fighting Thanos in like a boss battle. Then the scene of everybody shows up and you're running on a battlefield like you would like in like a Dynasty Warriors game with like all of the
I was gonna
superheroes
say
fighting in
I just
opposite
want a
side.
game where I can just pick any superhero and just go fucking berserk on like a bunch of enemies. That would be fucking sick.
Okay, well there is one. It's called
Well,
that
Avengers.
Avengers Assemble.
That game, there's no way that game was like that though. I heard so much shit reviews about that game.
You pick a hero and then you do missions with it and you beat shit up. Yeah.
But yeah, I want it. Thanks to Unreal Engine 5, by the way, for that technology that Unreal Engine 5 created with the cinematic lighting to it's the I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically this volumetric animation thing where basically the animation can blend like the animation quality can blend into the game quality like super smoothly and a lot of new game engines have been following it. Unreal Engine 5 is phenomenal. I was scared when they were creating a new Unreal Engine because I was like, oh, they're just Epic Games is gonna make a brand new engine that's gonna be dog shit, you know. But no, it is phenomenal. It's actually
Dude, when I saw that reveal trailer showing off the Unreal Engine 5 for the first time, where they had that room with all the soldiers and the lighting, the stone statues and all the lighting, and then that chick doing some magic and flying, like I had an orgasm.
dude. And the new Harry Potter game, that open world the it's set in the Harry Potter universe. It's not a Harry Potter game.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy.
I'm getting that.
I'm getting that game too. That looks fucking epic. There's also leaks right now of an open world Star Wars game where you can travel to a bunch of different planets and you have it's gonna be like Fallen Order,
Eclipse.
but is that what it's called?
I believe it's called Eclipse.
Yeah. That looks really good too. I said though the problem I said with that is I said I don't think that's ever gonna exist, and if it does get fully done, it's gonna probably be dog shit for the first like year it exists because that type of project is massive. But no, I'm excited. There's a lot of new things coming out next year. A lot of good games, a lot of good movies too. 2023 has some of the best movie lineups I think we've seen in so far in the 2020s.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to see them.
Oppenheimer for sure. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be fun nevertheless if it's bad or good. John Wick Chapter 4. We have it's going to be Shazam 2. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So Raven, what do you think? You think we should end it early episode? I was told by a good friend of mine, aka my boss, that when he was listening to the podcast, the one problem he had was that it was too long. So, do you think we
Oh.
should shorten the episodes?
I mean, I haven't had a problem with Joe Rogan's episodes. I mean,
Yeah,
that 4 hour Alex Jones one was fucking amazing.
dude,
Uh.
back in the day, H3 when his podcast was not bad, like where it's not this garbage that it is now. Back
Mhm.
in the day when it was like actually good, it was those like 3.5 hour long podcasts, those were great.
Yeah.
I miss the old H3H3.
Do you think I should become this podcast Alex Jones?
I mean, I don't know, man. That I
I
can see that
mean,
going both ways.
oh, come on. As long as I'm not going too far, it should be fine. I mean, isn't it believable though that, astronauts take DMT in the, bottom of San Francisco to commute with aliens?
Have you ever done DMT?
No.
Not yet. Not yet,
Okay, Joe Rogan.
dude.
All right.
The
Yeah,
DMT.
we can end it early. I'm
Okay.
fine.
Okay. The DMT
Next week
experience.
though, we're discussing God of War Ragnarok.
When it's fully finished, I might even play the game.
Yeah.
So that says much.
Yeah. The only thing I could tell you though, Jay, is there's going to be 2 hours, or at least I know the gameplay I'm watching, it showed it in 2 hours, but the person shows a lot of their gameplay. So it might be 2 hours for you, it might be longer. There's going to be at least a minimum of a 3 hour segment that you are going to be just absolutely fucking frustrated. Like, I never felt this way before, but you're going to be fucking frustrated, and then it'll pick up and you're just like, God damn, if only you could just fast forward through those 3 hours.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, we'll get to that next week.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. It seemed. It
Oh
seemed
wait, I
pretty-
gotta say something.
What?
I'm sorry, I forgot. I totally forgot. So, just a news update to everyone because I was given permission to do this. At work, I played Cupid. I saw two of my coworkers who are like obviously giving each other lovey-dovey eyes, and they hang out all the time, all the fucking time. It's annoying, and they didn't know how to tell each other how they felt because like they suck at communicating. And well, my friend who's a guy, his name's Logan, I'm gonna call him out by name, Logan. He was completely in love with one of the coworkers, all he could think about, but he didn't know how to tell her. So I actually started manipulating things at work to put them constantly together and like spark the relationship and get it going. And this week, because of me being me, he finally told her how he felt, and now Logan and Ashley are dating. Congratulations to this couple.
Yeah.
Okay, now now I'm done. I just needed to say that.
There you go. Atta buddy. Well, I think that's a good time to end it. We're ending it on a good note. So thank you guys for watching. As always, it was a pleasure. Thank you for
Bye.
lending us your ears.